A national championship is on the line. One of the prime contenders, North Shore Points champion Jeff Agnew. He's already won one USAR Hooters Pro Cup title. He'll face a heavy challenge from Shane Huffman, who won the South Tours honors this season in car number 84. Agnew, Huffman, Bobby Gill, and a host of others set to battle it out in Winchester. And welcome to Winchester Speedway in Winchester, Indiana. Coverage of the Kulwicki Memorial Naturally Fresh Foods 250 presented by Astral. It's round one of the championship series for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour. With Brian Drebber, I'm Rick Benjamin, Stephen Cox on pit road. He's ready to talk to pole sitter tonight, Hal Goodson.
Well, it's 50-50 this year. 2 North drivers and 2 South drivers in the top 2 rows. And this guy comes out. He's the track record holder in Hooters Pro Cup. Hal Goodson, you've done it again on the high banks. What do you attribute that to?
Well, just experience. We've been here a lot, running all-pro car, and ran here last year in the Hooters car, and you got always enjoy the track, and when you enjoy the track, you usually run good. So that's the main thing.
Talk about trouble on this racetrack. It's important that you stay out of it because you end up with a lot of incidents here.
Yeah, I mean the groove with these Hooters cars is right up against the wall, and it's kind of hard to pass at the bottom. You kind of pinch the car down and get loose, and it's tough to pass, but you can pass, and last time up here, regular season, is kind of a survival race, so we're going to try to survive tonight and go for it there at the end.
Let's take a look at the list of drivers, Brian, who've been invited to participate. Nearly 60, 28 from the north, 29 from the south.
You had to be in the top 30 in your own division in points and have run 7 races in order to be invited. So we were just short of 30 based on that those parameters. But we've got a mix of Northern and Southern Division drivers, some of whom have raced against each other, some of whom have not. They did get the opportunity during the course of the regular season to run for prize money but not points out of their division, and some chose to do that.
Based on the points, these drivers are seeded more or less going into the championship series, the 5 races that'll pay out $1 million, $250,000 to the champion. There's a lot at stake here.
Absolutely. The winner of each of the divisions got a bonus, so they're actually not only top seed, but with a little bit of extra points in their pocket in order to be able to compete in this championship series.
There's a special guest on hand here tonight at Winchester. Stephen is with Lynn St. James.
Lynn St. James had an opportunity to take a Hooters Pro Cup around Winchester Speedway a few times. Of course, she has plenty of laps at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Indy cars as well. Lynn, what brings you here besides an opportunity to drive around the track?
That was unexpected. I came here strictly as a spectator, strictly as an observer. I'm doing a lot of mentoring of up-and-coming drivers. I've heard a lot about Winchester. I know it's got a great history, and I've also been watching the Hooters Cup. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to learn, I'm going to, really see with my own eyes. And everything got going, and I mean, everybody was just so hospitable and so helpful. Next thing I know, Steve Huskett says, well, we'll get our backup car, and Charlie said, well, this is great, and everybody, I couldn't believe how wonderful everybody's been. So way exceeded whatever expectation I had out here. So not only did I see it with my own eyes, I got to feel it with my own butt. So it's really been great.
Tell me a little bit about the mentoring work that you are doing with race drivers.
Well, I have a driver development program that I've been doing now for over 10 years. And once a year, I've been doing it in Indianapolis, and I've had 156 drivers from 34 states and 2 countries actually attend. 80% of those have been women, but at the same time, we haven't discriminated. I've got some, Boston Reed is one of my, graduates of driver development, and there's some other great ones out there that are also some of the guys. But so much talent exists, but yet so many of drivers that have the talent don't understand the business side and don't understand the physical fitness that they need to have and don't understand so many of the other aspects. So I really try to give a bigger picture of what they need to learn, and I'm also trying to see who's really good. In other words, people can always talk a good game, but meanwhile, I really try to look for the extraordinary talent. Danica Patrick being one of them, Sarah Fisher was one of them, Aaron Crocker's coming up, Allison Duncan. I could go down a list of names, Michelle Tarot, who from very young age, some of them were 14, 15 when they came through my program, up to, in their 20s, because people are looking for young talent, but they've got to be prepared for a career, and I want to give them the tools to be prepared. So that's what I've been doing, and I want to continue to do that. And this definitely, the Hooters Cup is a series that I think young drivers need to look at if they want to go, stock car racing.
The thoughts of Lynn St. James, former Rookie of the Year in the Indy 500. Well, let's get a look at our weather picture here tonight. One of the Hooters girls is on hand.
It's a wonderful night for racing here in Winchester, Indiana. 72 degrees, about 80, high 80s in the car, and we've got a slight breeze.
I bet they do.
And the temperature, I'm sure, is a little warmer in the vicinity of our weather girl than it is everywhere else in the stadium.
About set to get the command that'll put our field of 41 underway tonight. Track owner and operator Charlie Shaw ready to give the command to fire up the motors.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
21 cars firing up, Ryan. This is what we work for all year long.
And what the drivers work for themselves, including our rookie drivers. A lot of new sponsors on the car right here. Sean Studer carrying Bird's Eye Foods. But Gene Crane, who is our usual colleague, has some word about those rookies in the race.
Well, guys, the 2003 regular season is done. Now the rookies look to this championship battle not only to position themselves for a piece of that big pie, but also that $10,000 Miller Lite Rookie of the Year title. Joel Kaufman, perhaps the favorite here at Winchester because it's a hometown track for Kaufman. But don't discount Danny O'Quinn, the highest point leader in terms of rookie points are concerned in the Southern Division. Further, we've got Benny Gordon back in action. He's had a strong race car throughout 2003. Add to it the Davis car, the Wormcastle car. We've got Scott Baker. We also have Keith Rogan and David Stover. A whole host of rookies that could go to victory lane for the very first time here in the Pro Cup Series. A lot's on the line, not just a championship, but that important Rookie of the Year title.
Certainly one of the prizes that the first-year drivers like to take a shot at as we get set to go racing. The field is rolling here at Winchester Speedway. Very tough racetrack. They've done a great job rebuilding this place in the last couple of years.
Well, it's one of those racetracks where, as Hal Goodson said, the groove is up to the top, the wall can bite you, but there is a lot of racing to be done here. Because of the high bank, the speeds are big all the way around.
They've been racing here for more than 50 years. We'll be back for the green flag in Winchester.
USAR Hooters Pro Cup Racing is brought to you by Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. Jackaroo Meat Sausage, served in America's finest backyard. Miller Lite, grab a Miller Lite, it's Miller time. Lucas Oil, the official lubricant of USAR.
Welcome back to Winchester Speedway in Winchester, Indiana. Coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series on Speed. Final 5 races to settle the 2003 National Championship. Field underway for some pace laps here tonight. We've got several different onboard looks for you as we get ready to put this field underway. We'll get some great shots from various positions in the grid. There'll be a lot of fender banging, sheet metal swapping, paint trading all night long, right?
And the best look is up close and personal, just like you're driving along in the race car. There are 41 cars on the high bank here at Winchester. That alone is going to make for some terrific racing action. And we always enjoy, you know, the sort of vicariousness of riding along with your favorite drivers here. Let's take a look at who we'll be riding with tonight.
Well, Jay Fogelman carrying one of our onboard cameras, and Jay didn't qualify very well. He's starting way back in 30th. I'm sure he'll be moving up through the field tonight in that Lucas Oil Ford. Couple of wins for Jay Fogelman this season.
And we'll also be riding in the 15S S for Southern Division car of Marty Lindley. In the Hooters entry, he'll be starting 5th inside row number 3. Looking back at Danny O'Quinn Jr. there, that'll be an interesting look off the back.
Joel Kaufman, the LA West Luxury Van Chevrolet, will carry one of our cameras in that 44. He's a rookie contender. He lines up 11th, and if local knowledge matters, Kaufman's a guy to factor in tonight, I think.
Best wishes for one of their crewmen, too. And Jimmy Burns in the Jackaroo Meat Sauces, J.A. Burns Trucking Chevy Monte Carlo, starting 22nd inside row 11, looking off the B pillar there. That'll be a good look, too.
Let's take a look at our Jackaroo Sauces starting lineup. Hal Goodson puts the Lynch Motorsports Dodge on pole. Shane Huffman from the South Series, the Genio Turkey Store 84. That's a Ford alongside. Row 2, North Tour regular season champ Jeff Agnew, the Hooters NGA Golf Tour Chevrolet, and Sean Studer in the 71 from Charlotte, the Bird's Eye Foods Pontiac.
Marty Lindley in the Hooters Ford Taurus, starting inside row number 3, alongside Clay Rogers in his Naturally Fresh Foods Ford. And those two are going to be very tough contenders here. We go back to row number 4 with the rookie, Danny O'Quinn Jr., top qualifying rookie in the Homesteader Trailer Chevy, along with Eric Corbett from Hagerstown, Maryland, the Clean and Shine Ford.
5th row inside the 11S, Stacy Breer from South Boston. They need a sponsor for that team. Mike Laughlin Jr. has the 7 car, the Finish Line Racing School Ford. He'll start alongside. Row 6, rookie Joel Kaufman, that's the LA West Chevrolet. And 3-time champion Bobby Gill from Dalton, Georgia, the Triple Diamond Jet Center's 5 car.
Brian Ross, former Northern Division top finisher in the U.S. Insurance Truck Specialist Ford Taurus. Mario Goslin Super Mario starts his Ford with Daniel Schaefer's DA Auto Auction on the side. Jason Sarvis in the 22S car, also looking for a sponsor to go along with Black's Tire on his machine. And the Dodge Intrepid of Michael Rich carrying Jackaroo sauces.
Ninth row, Benny Gordon has the 44S from Moncks Corner, South Carolina. The Baird Auto for Glenn Galt from Hubbard, Ohio, the American Title and Trust Chevrolet. Row 10, Stephen Christian in the 2S from Buford, Georgia, the Lucas Oil car. And Gerald Davis in the 88 from Delray, West Virginia, the Action Concrete Ford.
Car number 3, Jason McClellan out of Ontario, Canada, in the Arctic Clear Chevy goes with Jimmy Burns in another Jackaroo Meat Sauces entry. And then David Buggy Fletcher out of Mooresville, North Carolina, in the Nude Furniture of Dallas Ford Taurus. Danny Salmons in his Benson Motorcycles Ford right alongside.
Next row, 13th row on the inside. Curtis Davis spun in qualifying. That's now the 1-800 Radiator Ford. And Joe Gaeta from Yorktown, Virginia, the ACS Systems Ford, the 06 car. Gaeta had a tough fight just to get here. More on that later. 14th row, David Stover in the 05 from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Shaw Industries Chevy. Mark Nesbitt in the 92S. He is from Asheville, North Carolina. That's the Blue Cross Blue Shield Ford.
Daniel Johnson, former Rookie of the Year in the Charlotte Check Casher Chevy, goes with Jay Fogelman in the Lucas Oil Products Ford. And Joe Harrison Jr., the veteran in the Harrison's Automotive Chevy Monte Carlo, starts alongside Luke Hill, looking for a sponsor on his Ford Taurus.
17th row, Derek Kelly's from Auburndale, Florida, the 21 car, the Frazier Contractor Chevy. Don Satterfield from Spartanburg, the Hawk Saw Blade Chevy lines up in the 34th position. Next row, Kyle Shoemaker from Belvedere, New Jersey. Car number 27, the K2 Machinery Ford. Rookie Pete Wormcastle, New Haven, Indiana. That's the Whitwer Racing Ford Taurus.
Rookie Keith Rogan also eligible for that Rookie of the Year prize in the Southern Road Builder Chevy. Goes with Chad Mullis in the Mulliswell Drilling Ford. Chris Limerick out of Indiana in the Bill Sprague Amsoil Chevy Monte Carlo, along with Roger Blackstock in the Suck Bang Blow Biker Bar Chevy. That one's a hard one to get out. He's actually borrowed a car from Alan Bigelow, who did not qualify. And your final starter, rookie Scott Baker, got a provisional in the Talmadge Asphalt Chevy back on the last row. Row number 21, all by himself.
Getting set for the start here at Winchester Speedway. Packed house, as you would expect. Brian checking the qualifying sheet. 41 cars packed very tightly together.
Got a fan waving the checkered flag a little too early as Lynn St. James gets ready to flag the green. 1.06 seconds separating the entire field here at Winchester.
Very impressive performance in qualifying by all the drivers on hand. Rookie Scott Baker in that 11 car has to take a provisional and start at the back. He's very quick. I think we may see him charge up through the field.
Well, it's going to be pretty interesting because a lot of fast cars are at the back. We mentioned some of them having, a spin specifically in practice by Curtis Davis. Qualifying and racing are two different things. That's why they don't hand out the check after qualifying.
And you'll see a scuff mark up on the wall outside 1 and 2. Our broadcast colleague Scott Sutherland entered here this weekend. He wrecked during practice. That's his scuff mark up there. He will not take the green. Hal Goodson, the quick qualifier in that blue number 50, elects to start on the outside. You get your choice if you're the fast qualifier. Safety car is in. 250 laps to go. Green flag is in the air. We're underway at Winchester.
Lynn St. James waving the flag after she had a chance to take a lap here, and already they've headed for the high groove. Goodson chose to start up top. You heard him say that's where the groove is, but he's passed for the lead by Shane Huffman right off the bat, who started down inside row 1.
Agnew settles into third. Studer is fourth in that blue 71. Huffman by 2 car lengths as we put lap 1 on the board.
Well, Hal Goodson might be rethinking that start now and want to start down inside if he gets a do-over, but that's not the way it works. So Shane Huffman out in front has been fast all year long. If you could talk about a dominant driver in the Southern Division, it would be the driver of the 84 Genio Turkey Store car.
Huffman, a driver who really needs a good run here tonight for a variety of reasons. Goodson, the 2 wins this season. Oh, problems.
Well, we got
yellow.
a problem.
We've got trouble on the front straightaway. Kyle Shoemaker has spun out of turn 4. Looks like he didn't hit anything, at least not very hard. They'll point to 27 in the right direction and be able to rejoin at the back of the pack. A frightening moment, though, here.
Yeah, just barely gets it going again before the field got up there, so he didn't go a lap down, but caution is waving here at Winchester Speedway.
We'll take a quick timeout and be right back. Welcome back to Winchester Speedway. Coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series on Speed with Brian Trevor, Stephen Cox, Cyberic Benjamin. Field under caution, a Kyle Shoemaker spin on lap 2. Coming up, 4 races to settle the title after tonight. Jennerstown and Myrtle Beach. It all wraps up at USA in November.
It's going to be a very exciting playoff series, and for those of you that are, tuned into kind of regular season and playoffs, the Hooters Pro Cup Series is just your bag.
Ready to restart. Safety car is in. Shane Huffman, the Genio Turkey Stores Ford on the point. Right behind him, Hal Goodson, Jim Agnew third. Sean Studer restarts in 4th spot. Everybody scrambling to get up to the high side, but 1 car diving to the bottom there. The 10S of Mario Gosselin trying to gain some spots. The Natural Refresh Foods field summary on lap number 7. Everybody still chasing Huffman.
First 3 cars pulled away just a little bit on that restart. Gaps are starting to open up in the field. This Winchester Speedway is a very difficult one to get a handle on, and it's a whole lot different going out there and practice and qualifying than it is racing. Joe Harrison Jr. takes his Harrison Automotive number 57 down the pit road under green. Those guys are going to have a look and see if they can get him back out there.
3 cars under a blanket. Hal Goodson tracking right behind Shane Huffman. That's Goodson in the 50. North Tour regular season champ Jeff Agnew. A couple of wins from the 73 team. They were very quick toward the end of the season. Agnew takes a look at the bottom there, trying to find a way by Goodson. Has to back out of it as they race into 1.
Fast line up on top, brushing the wall and adding to Scott Sutherland's big long stripe. Somebody asked Scott for his autograph. He took that a little too seriously and autographed the whole track. But you can see that high groove that Hal Goodson talked about. It is right up against the wall, a little too close to the wall sometimes.
Quick ride with Marty Lindley and the Hooters Ford. Trying to move up through the pack for 7th spot. Here comes Mike Laughlin Jr. inside Eric Corbett down the backstretch.
Well, good side-by-side racing. If a car gets up against the high groove and is going a little too slow, as Hal Goodson also said, you can pass. You have to do it down low and be careful not to pinch the car down too much.
Laughlin makes the move. Here comes the 11S. Stacy Purrier in that black car. Danny O'Quinn in the silver 02 up high. So good battling for position. Joe Harrison slow at the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, big problem down the main straightaway.
Oh.
The 16 car, Clayton Rogers around. Look at him stack it up. Harrison's in the middle of it. Danny O'Quinn in there. Mario Gosselin's involved. Glenn Gauld in the 32. Looks like Brian Ross there, and a red flag on the front straightaway.
Oh, well, it's a total traffic jam from wall to wall on board with Joel Kaufman looking straight at the side of, I think that's Clay Rogers' car. It is very heavily damaged, and it looked as though Rogers was kind of the first one to sort of lose it a little bit, and it started a chain reaction. There goes the 2 car of Steve Christian. He got moving and avoided most of it. The 28 of Michael Rich is involved, and they have brought this one to a halt.
Wow.
What else can they do?
Brian Ross able to drive away. Jimmy Burns able to drive away. Here comes Jason McClellan in the 3 car moving away, but
wow.
Clayton Rogers, the defending race winner here at Winchester, the championship series, looks like he's going to be out. Here's another look.
Oh, man, the barrels are flying at the end of pit wall. The mess has not stopped yet. What an incredible accident. Another look at it here. There you can see Clay Rogers sideways down the track. Into him goes Shoemaker and into the end of pit wall. And then it was just game over for anybody behind that wreck.
Another look, another Coca-Cola replay from an onboard view. You can see the 16
Marty
of Rogers. This is from Marty Lindley's race car. He's pulling away from the mess. Let's climb on board with Joel Kaufman. He was in the middle of this one.
Bang! And, oh. Wow.
Stacy Purrier right there in the 11S, who got hammered by Kaufman, one of the leading rookies in the LA West Chevrolet. Here's the car, Mario Gosselin. Doesn't look very super there as he drives the 10S away.
Man, oh man, that is way more than cosmetic damage on most of those cars. There is going to be some definite functional problems there. Radiators are going to take the biggest hit right in the front of the car. And yeah, the 05 of David Stover is dove down pit road to avoid the problem, so he's caught down there. There's Stacy Purrier's car. You can barely see the other one in the 11.
Now the problem here at Winchester, it's very wide, but you're going so fast. When you come off turn 4, you're back on the throttle, trouble in front of you, really nothing you can do.
And they still haven't been able to get all those cars moving. The 44 of Kaufman is still parked. Mario Gosselin got rolling away, but that's as far as he went. The left rear tire is gone. The right side of the car is completely smashed in. Michael Rich,
yeah.
Wow.
Now, the big challenge here is going to be, we'll show it to you one more time, for all these teams to see who can repair their cars. Points at issue here. You want to get back in the race if at all possible.
And again, those barrels that are used to absorb the impact at the end of pit wall did their job and scattered towards pit road, keeping any more damage from happening to Kyle Shoemaker's car.
One more look from Joel Kaufman's vantage point.
Wow.
They tell a driver to wait until the noise stops before you unbuckle, and it took a while there for Kaufman.
Well, it certainly did, and you might want to count to 5 even after the noise stops, because they're still coming up behind you. And if that isn't the big one, I don't know what is.
Pete Wormcastle there in the 01 threading his way through the carnage. A couple of other cars will sift through here and be able to go up to turn 2 and wait with everyone else while we get this cleaned up.
Well, they might almost be understaffed with safety crew here. This is such a big melee. The 94 car of Keith Rogan Oh, the 0-2 of the Southern rookie leader, Danny O'Quinn Jr. Lots of damage there, too.
All right, while they clean up, we'll take a quick timeout and be right back. Welcome back to Winchester Speedway. Coverage of the Alan Kulwicki Memorial Naturally Fresh Foods 250, presented by Astral here on Speed. With Brian Drepper, I'm Rick Benjamin. Stephen Cox on pit road. Red flag for a huge mess early in the going on the front straightaway. Let's hear from some of the drivers. First, Stacy Puryear.
First of all, Stacy, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just unfortunate. We had cleared the 02 car and was getting ready to go by the 75 car and move into 8th place, but somebody turned the 16 car off of 4 there, and Clay overcorrected, just came right back up the racetrack, nowhere to go. Got on the binder, somebody got in the back of me, just a big wreck. Just thank all my guys for working so hard, and hopefully we'll be back at Jennerstown.
Things happen awfully fast here, Brian.
Well, Super Mario Gosselin, an ARCA Remax Series winner this year, made his way around the pit road. He's gotten out of that heavily damaged 10 car. He's with Steven.
How bad is it, Mario?
It's junk. I don't know what happened. 4 or 5 of them in front of me wrecked, and I got on the brakes real hard, got sideways, and been all right, but evidently somebody else couldn't stop and run in the right rear. It's pretty bad. Just go right around, try to get a few points. We probably just get some points over a few of them, probably park it. We'll see how it is.
We'll let him get back to work, guys. He's actually grabbed a wrench and a ratchet, and he's under the hood himself.
Well, Mario and his brother run that race team. They've got the Sawzall out. You know it's pretty serious when they start cutting on the race car.
Let's hear from Clay Rogers, the accused starter of all this.
Clay, what happened?
I haven't the slightest clue. I don't know if somebody got into me, or I feel like something broke on the race car under that caution. When I was getting back and forth in the gas, my shifter was moving back and forth a lot. And then when we went back to green, I could feel something dragging down the straightaways. So I don't know if we had a motor mount break or a transmission mount break or what, but I don't know what was dragging the ground, but it was getting worse and worse. And then I jumped in the gas up here in turns 3 and 4. It just snapped around on me. I don't know. I mean, the car was tight before that, so I feel like we had a failure of some sort, but we'll take it apart and find out. I just hate it for the Naturally Fresh guys. You know, we've been making a lot of points here lately on this championship deal, and I guess we're pretty much out of it now.
Glad you're okay, Clay.
Boy, you can hear the frustration in his voice.
Wow, you know, when a driver is looking for answers and very few clues, that's what it sounds like.
A Rookie of the Year contender, Joel Kaufman, heavily involved in that one. Stevens caught up with him.
Joel, it's a hopeless situation from a race standpoint, but you have a championship battle of your own for Rookie of the Year to worry about. Your crew's working like crazy.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you what, it's a shame. We had a real good car. We're just sitting there trying to ride, and knew what it took to finish these races, but I guess somebody got sideways in front of us and started piling up, and I had it missed down low and got hit from behind, but you know, you're going so fast here, it's just hard to react to things like that, but you know, hopefully we can get it out. You know, I got a real hard-working crew, and we'll do what we can do, but you know, all them points are valuable, so whatever we can do to get back out there, we're going to sure do.
Okay, we'll keep back up top, guys, but keep an eye on the 44 car. He wants this back out in the field, and they desperately need the points for the Rookie of the Year championship.
Native Hoosier, he's got a lot of experience here at Winchester. We'll see if the Kaufman team can get that car back in business. Back with more in a moment. Welcome back on Speed, coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. From Winchester Speedway, the first of the 5 championship races to settle the 2003 title. Ready for a restart after a long red flag. The 84 of Shane Huffman takes him down into turn 1. Agnew and Goodson, your top 3.
Well, the point you made about this being the first of the championship races is really the good news with regard to that wreck and for people like Clay Rogers, Joel Kaufman, etc. We have to remember that Jason Sarvis DNF'd in the second race of the championship series last year, went on to win 2 races and the title. So it is still possible. The way the point structure goes, the way this 5-race shootout for the championship goes, nobody's out of it yet. Some are out of it somewhat. Well, let's just say the chances of some drivers are worse than others. Right now, Shane Huffman has the best chance of anybody. Not only does he come in as a top seed, he's leading the race.
Right behind him, the top seed from the North Tour, Jeff Agnew, the Hooters NGA Golf Tour Chevrolet, the 73. Let's get on board here with Jake Fogelman, the Lucas Oil Taurus.
So the fact that Huffman and Agnew are running first and second, does that indicate the old adage of cream rises to the top? The 2 top seeds are the first two cars in the race?
Well, they started second and third here tonight. They got by Hal Goodson pretty handily. Goodson's tucked in now in third. Deeper in the pack, here's Fogelman. Right in front of the 41 car, trying to work his way up. Luke Hill in that 41S. Fogelman only qualified 30th. He hasn't had a good weekend so far.
No, and Jay Fogelman sometimes seems to start, to have situations like that. He's an excellent race car driver. He's got a terrific program behind him in that Lucas Oil Products Ford Taurus. He's got all the parts to put together, but every now and then, that last little teammate that he needs, Lady Luck, seems to abandon him. Danny O'Quinn Jr. has managed to get that hugely damaged car back out on the racetrack for a few points and a few laps.
The 7th spot, 3-time Hooters Cup champ Bobby Gill in the 5S. There's the 2S. One of the Black's tire cars right behind him.
Steve Christian in the sister car, you might say, to Fogelman's Lucas Oil number 4. Bobby Gill has alternately been an opponent and a fan of the championship series situation. Last year he was against it because he had a bad championship series run. This year he had a bad regular season in contrast to the prior year, so he was kind of a fan of the championship. He comes in with a great chance of earning a 4th title. So Bobby Gill is out there, and depending on his own, look at this, 3 wide, well, and counting the damaged car of Shoemaker down below.
Gerald Davis, Brian Ross following. Behind the 2 car, your leader continues to be Shane Huffman in that Genio Turkey Stores Ford. Boy, he's setting a quick pace around here.
He can dominate a race. Hey, let's go to Stephen Cox on a new rule change for next year.
The aluminum heads that will be used in Hooters Pro Cup next year, many teams are trying them right now. One of those teams, the 44 car of Joel Kaufman. Now, 1 week ago Tuesday, Joel brought this car out with the aluminum heads on this engine and tested it back-to-back with a steel-headed race car. Well, of course, the difference is about 45 pounds, and you're taking that 45 pounds out of an elevated high place in the engine compartment, replacing it with the aluminum heads. Then you can take that 45-pound weight savings and put it anywhere you want on the race car. Well, it makes a huge difference in the handling of the car in the corners. Now, Joel took the other car out for 25 laps and went around and around 25 times here at Winchester Speedway with steel heads on the car. He brought the car back in, went out for 5 laps with an aluminum-headed car, and immediately said, guys, this is the car that we're going to race with. It handles far, far better than a car with steel heads.
Well, as long as they have to deal with a minimum weight requirement, just like with some of the newer chassis that Billy Hess and the Mike Laughlin chassis that come out, the chassis themselves are lighter, especially up high in the roll cage. That means they can put the lead weights that they have to use to make minimum weight down low where the roll center is affected, makes the car handle better, makes sense. Perfect situation.
50 laps of 250 up on the board. Your Sunoco Race Fuels full field summary. Mike Laughlin is 6th. Benny Gordon 7th. Sarvis and Christian. There's Jason McClellan in 11th. Here comes Christian trying to poke the nose of that 2 car inside Gill.
Gill in the just outside the top 10. Fogelman there in 16th position. Danny Salmon starts the next 5 with Luke Hill's 41 car that we saw a while ago. Don Satterfield in the number 1S machine. And as we get here, cars have already gone a lap down, notably those that were involved in the accident. Michael Rich, Glenn Galt, and also Clay Rogers. Mario Gosselin pretty much out of the race at this point, has not been able to get back in.
Shane Huffman putting Scott Baker a lap down. He is flying back at Winchester.
Welcome back. You're watching the Hooters Pro Cup Series from Winchester, Indiana.
Back live as we take him down into turn 1. Shane Huffman in the 84 continues to lead, setting a very quick pace, opening up that lead every time around here.
Well, in a showroom fresh car by comparison to some of those involved in the big wreck a while ago, and Huffman is definitely getting the job done as we watch the 22 car of Jason Sarvis. This is your defending Hooters Pro Cup champion, whom we mentioned had a DNF in race 2 last season, went on to win the title. He's trying to defend that title and pick it up again, even though he had an interrupted season this year, kind of a situation involving his team, and finally they got things mended up. He put together the last part of the season, got into the championship series with just as good a chance, if not better, of winning the title again here in 2003.
Sarvis quick here in the early going, first 60 or so laps tonight out of 250. Certainly a driver that everyone wants to watch as we work toward the championship run. Here's Huffman continuing to lead. Next time out in a couple of weeks, Brian, a flat track at Jennerstown could change the mix dramatically. On lap 73 are Naturally Fresh Foods' top group of cars. Huffman and Agnew. Gordon 6th ahead of Sarvis. Mike Laughlin, Bobby Gill, Jay Fogelman the top 10. Jimmy Burns is behind the wall. He's with Steven.
Well, Jimmy Burns has been victimized, and it appears, Jimmy, that this time it may have been something to do with the oil system, maybe a belt.
Yeah, we definitely lost the belt, but I don't know if the motor started. We lost the cylinder a couple laps ago, and it just started slowing down, and then it threw the belt. we had a problem with the rocker at Motordrome, and thought maybe that was what it was, and we could just ride it out, but that's a shame. The car worked the best it ever has. We just can't get a break on this Jackaroo car. If there's anybody out there that has good luck charms, we need them, man. But
how about a new wife? Is that a good luck charm?
I sure hope so, man.
Well, see, that's the worst kept secret on pit road. Tell us about your wedding plans, Jimmy.
Well, we picked the weekend. We're not racing next weekend. Next Saturday, Mara and I are getting married, and gonna go on a honeymoon and maybe get a little free time to relax and come back at Jennerstown strong. But it's just a shame. Jackaroo, meat sauces, and this whole team, everybody works so hard. And I mean, Jimmy Freeline and Jennerstown Engine Technologies does a great job with the engines. It's just something stupid happened again, I guess.
Young driver from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, former sprint car driver on the dirt in Pennsylvania, and we wish him well with his pending nuptials.
Very personable young man and a talented driver as well. Good luck charms are the hardest to come by, it seems, and when you go racing, and everybody wants them, but very few of them get handed out.
Al Goodson was the quick qualifier here this weekend in that Lynch Motorsports Dodge. He's back in third, and he's got his hands full. Marty Lindley about ready to try to make a move around Goodson for third spot.
Down inside goes that number 15 Hooters car, battling for third position. Goodson lost a couple of spots quickly. This one is more of a drawn-out affair as they get into traffic, but they are very close behind the 73 car of Jeff Agnew running in second position. It's Huffman who's got the big lead.
Goodson, though, as he laps by some slower cars, would like to get up there and challenge Agnew. He won the North Tour's regular season visit here in Winchester and at Salem, the two high-banked Indiana tracks.
Well, he's very, very good on these high-bank fast tracks. He's got that power steering by Armstrong. He can wrestle those big cars around with those big arms. Hal Goodson is tough to deal with here on these quick tracks.
Coming up behind the 21, Derek Kelly out of Auburndale, Florida, one of the South Tour regulars who came and ran a couple of Northern races this year. He's in a different ride tonight, but not up to speed in that Ford Taurus.
Fraser Contractors Caddy's Restaurant on the Chevrolet that he's driving. And yes, Derek Kelly, another one of the very personable and talented drivers, just has not been able to put together a program to allow him to run the entire season. So he kind of cherry-picked his way into the championship series.
Boy, Shane Huffman is setting quite a pace. He's your leader at Winchester. Hooters girls on hand to welcome all the fans at Winchester Speedway to kick off the 5-race championship series. We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed, the naturally fresh foods 250, the Kulwicki Memorial for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour. North versus South for the first time this season. The battle is on for fourth. Hal Goodson under attack from Jason Sarvis.
And Marty Lindley right behind him. So this is getting good in a number of places around the racetrack here, and the two grooves are definitely opened up. Hal Goodson said the groove is up at the top. Well, that's where he is, but Jason Sarvis is finding a faster one down low.
Trying to follow Eric Corbett in the 75 in the Larry and Sons Ford. Now Corbett, normally a contender, has a win this year. He's been off the pace. He's going to tuck up in there, though, behind Jeff Agnew, who runs second.
Whoa!
And trouble.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
smoke down in one. Third caution of the night.
Wow.
Bobby Gill goes around. Jeff Agnew is involved. Sean Studer's in it. Don Satterfield just getting on the brakes in the Hawk Saw Blades car, but Agnew, the North Tour's regular season champ, with heavy front-end damage in that Chevrolet.
Wow, we saw that one, just got a glimpse of it developing, and then all heck broke loose, as they say. But Agnew, who was running second, got involved. It happened right in front of the leaders. Shane Huffman was able to slip through there.
Big scuff mark on that wall, up at 1 and 2 again. Bobby Gill puts that mark up on the Winchester crash wall. Third caution of the night. 90 laps on the board, not quite to the 100-lap mark, but several drivers who were prime contenders, Brian, take a huge hit.
Well, for the second time tonight, we've got a lot of damage involved with race cars out there. This one has not brought out a red flag, but Bobby Gill squarely in the middle of that, the three-time champ. His opportunity to take a fourth championship just took a little bit of a hit. Again, we point out this is only the first of 5 championship races. Better it happens now than in the fourth of 5 races.
And leader Shane Huffman is going to bring the Jenny-O Turkey Store Ford onto pit road at lap 90. This is a little early, I would think, for tires and fuel, but he'll take advantage of the caution.
And nobody comes out of here completely unscathed. He's already got a couple of tire donuts on the right side of his number 84 as he heads down pit road. A few cars are staying out, but virtually all the leaders have headed down pit road.
The two Black's Tire cars come in, Lindley as well. Stephen Cox on pit road.
The 84 car of Shane Huffman will come down after winning the outside pole for this race. He will be followed in by the 50 car just to our left. That is Hal Goodson. Hal has already won both races on the high banks this year. He will take a bit of a chassis adjustment before he goes back out. Now let's look back down pit row. We have the 50 car followed by Shane Huffman, and also some very heavy damage on the 73 car of Jeff Agnew. We actually have a crewman on top of that race car trying to pound that hood back down. Jeff Agnew in serious trouble here. He has not lost a lap yet. However, the pace car is headed our way.
Agnew's certainly the guy who stands to suffer the most impact from that wreck in more than one way. Here it is again. Gill up into the wall. Agnew gets turned by Corbett. Goodson gets into Corbett, and Corbett then tags Agnew a second time. So the 73 takes a heavy shot. Running second, you thought, gee, here's a guy who's got a chance to win the race tonight. And
Sean Studer kind of sliding into the tail end of that. Another look at it shows Bobby Gill already up against the wall. The only explanation for that has to be a cut tire or something that went wrong. Yeah. Bobby Gill is not inclined to make right turns on an oval racetrack that is all lefts. So I can only imagine that he cut a tire or something, perhaps some debris or whatever left over up in that high groove from the earlier incident. Who knows?
Well, the quick way around here is generally considered to be up by the wall, except off of turn 2. Most guys will try to dive low coming off the second corner. Gill might have just got sucked up into the wall because he was up high there, but hard to imagine that was the case. We'll be back at Winchester. Welcome back on Speed. We're at Winchester Speedway in Indiana. The Kulwicki Memorial Naturally Fresh Foods 250 presented by Astral. So Bobby Gill's behind the wall. He's with Stephen Cox.
Bobby, I know it's been a very frustrating season. Could you have expected any less at this racetrack?
Well, I mean, we weren't that good of a car. Brakes were glowing red on it. I don't know. It's just the way the year's been. So I guess this is due to final race for us.
I know that you don't have a backup car. Is there no opportunity to try to put this back together, or is that the voice of frustration speaking?
No, I ain't got no more money, and I ain't going to spend more money on this deal.
Well, three-time champion says that's it for the year. Wow.
Well, we've heard that from Bobby before, and I'm going to say that I'm also just as skeptical as I was about him hitting the wall, other than by some mechanical problem. I'm also skeptical that Bobby Gill won't return with 4 more races for the championship. It can get done. He can still get it done.
And a big pot of money, of course, at the end of the rainbow. Huffman in the 84. Off the restart, continues to lead. He's led all the way so far. But here comes Marty Lindley in the Hooters Ford right up behind him.
Well, Marty Lindley has a way of coming on after, quite a few laps. It seems as though those guys set that car up for long runs. And so while he may not be spectacular necessarily in qualifying, 5th isn't bad. Marty tends to run well and drive his way into these races. Shane Huffman has qualified on the pole so many times this year. He runs fast right from the start, and he's run fast from the start of this one as well.
100 laps on the board. Your Sunoco Race Fuels full field rundown. Defending series champ Jason Sarvis up in 3rd. Laughlin and rookie Benny Gordon the top 5. There's McClellan out of Canada. Last year's North Shore points leader Brian Ross, Sean Studer, Hal Goodson, who started on the pole tonight. Jeff Agnew still shown 10th after that hard wreck.
Well, and Benny Gordon's got a lot of room all the way back to the 11 there of Scott Baker till we find the next rookie driver a lap down. So in that Miller Lite Rookie of the Year competition, it's Benny Gordon that's getting the job done. Stover, another rookie back there. Danny Salmon's running in 20th position, but so many cars have gone a lap or more down already. That's why we saw the leaders kind of pit together there. It seems there was very little to be lost by coming in, even though it was well before the halfway point, around which most people tend to come in and pit.
Black flag being shown to Joe Gaeta in the 06. Apparently he started in the wrong line on that restart. I didn't see whether he was in the high line for lead lap cars or down at the bottom, but USAR officials noting he was not where he needed to be. Gaeta obviously off the pace. Mario Gosselin, a guy we thought would be really a contender tonight. He's behind the wall. First car out, as a matter of fact. That big incident on lap 13 that brought out the red flag. Lead battle down the backstretch. And here comes Gaeta for that stop-and-go penalty after the black flag.
Well, it's a tough break for the driver of the 06 car there, that Kimnock Ford. They're going to bring him in, slow him down. He's going to lose a lot of track position, hopefully not an entire lap at this point. We still see that 55 car traveling slowly around the bottom. Roger Blackstock borrowed a car, as we mentioned earlier, to get into this one and try to get some points. But Marty Lindley's definitely looking for a way around Shane Huffman, who's got the fast line here at Winchester pretty well sewn up.
Lindley, though, took a peek on the high side as they came off 4. He's got an idea, I think, of trying to dive bomb and get around Huffman. Here he goes to get up to the wall, see if he can make the outside in move as they hit the front straightaway. Huffman just too quick off the corner.
That high-low, fake-right, go-left move sometimes works here at Winchester. There's the slow car number 27 of Kyle Shoemaker. He hit the barrels at the end of pit road in that big wreck earlier in this competition.
Boy, Shane Huffman must be watching his mirrors at this point. Goodson's tried it high-low. It hasn't been able to find a way around yet, but here he is again, quick up by the wall, trying to see if he can get a run down off of turn 2. A lot of drivers, Brian, here at Winchester will get up high going into 1 and then take it very low out of 2 and make a move, but not this time for the 15 car, Marty Lindley, and he sticks right there in second spot.
Mike Laughlin Jr. leading Benny Gordon and Jason McClellan in a battle for 4th position here. These guys trying to settle the issue of getting up there and figuring out who's got the fast car for the second half of this race as we get close to the end of the first half.
Mike Laughlin started in 10th. He's picked up 6 positions right now. Jason McClellan out of Canada in the 3 car, also on the move. He was way back in 21st when we dropped the green, so he's really been marching up through there. And Benny Gordon, you've got to be impressed with him for a first-year driver in Hooters Pro Cup action.
We've been impressed with him all season long. Benny Gordon with obviously a lot of skill and talent. Danny O'Quinn Jr. there, another very talented rookie driver. Trying to nurse his damaged 02 Homesteader trailer Chevy around the track, but Benny Gordon is pretty much the only undamaged car among the rookies out there. And the gain of positions by drivers like Jason McClellan is largely due to having scampered through that big wreck earlier. So 21st up to a battle for 4th. Yeah, that's because he got through the wreck okay.
Leaders whistling by the 44. Joel Kaufman was heavily involved in that big first wreck on lap 13. They put the 44 back in running order at least. He's at the bottom of the racetrack with no front fenders, several laps down. But the object of the game tonight is to get back out there, make laps, and score points. We've got 4 more championship races left to go. This is still the battle for 4th.
And rookie Pete Wormcastle and his Whitwer Racing Ford go also slow around the bottom of the racetrack in that 01 car. It's a big traffic jam as this battle for 4th comes up to it.
1 car slowing on the high side. The 9 of Chad Mullis off the pace. Nearly stacked him up going down into 1.
And he's waving through the window net there, trying to warn the drivers behind him that he's slow. Now he's trying to get down to the bottom of the track and out of the way.
We'll get our 4th yellow of the night on lap 114. So Mullis safely out of the way. We'll take a quick break here at Winchester. Welcome back on Speed, coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour, the 5-race championship series for 2003. Tonight it's the Alan Kulwicki Memorial Naturally Fresh Foods 250, presented by Astral. The Hooters ladies on hand to help entertain the crowd tonight. They've got the warm-up suits on. You can tell it's almost fall.
It's getting just a little chillier down here. They're putting the straw hats on too, and not unlike who was the country music star that kept the price tag on her hats?
Pearl.
There we go, Minnie Pearl. They're doing the Minnie Pearl wave down there with the hats on as we go back to green.
Shane Huffman in the 84 has led all the way so far. 6 laps short of halfway. Green's in the air. Here comes Lindley again, but he's got his hands full because Sarvis is knocking on the door in 3rd.
Well, Jason Sarvis inevitably shows up when the second half of the race begins to loom. Joe Gaeta down on the low line there. Remember, he was black flagged. He had started up in the lead lap car line, and they brought him in for a penalty. So he's moving slowly around the bottom of the racetrack on top of all that.
Second spot to Lindley. Everybody chasing the 84 of Huffman. Huffman started 2nd here tonight. Actually got to start inside row 1. Hal Goodson, quick qualifier, elected to go up high at the start. Huffman dove to the bottom, cleared Goodson going into turn 1. He waved goodbye, but here comes Lindley right up on his back decklet again.
Well, they're starting to make some progress towards the very well set up car of Shane Huffman right now. Everybody pitted and were able to make adjustments, change tires, take on fuel. They're expecting to run to the end, I guess, on what would have been normally considered an early pit stop.
The 92 of Martin Nesbitt, new look for that car, holding off Curtis Davis in the 68. Curtis won his first race on tour a short time ago, but hasn't really been very quick here all weekend long. Meantime, everyone's still chasing the 84, but I think Marty Lindley may have something here for Huffman.
Well, he keeps trying and doesn't seem to want to give up. Of course, that's not the nature of race car drivers. This is about as close to making a pass as we've seen him, as he forgot that fake right thing. He's just going to go left. That's the only room on the racetrack to get around.
Working around the heavily damaged 27, New Jersey's Kyle Shoemaker. Tangled up in that big incident on lap 13. Lindley made his NASCAR Busch Series debut a month ago at Raceway Park in Indianapolis. Did a nice job, and here he is again, pressing Huffman as they come toward halfway. They get the cross flags, and Shane Huffman will pick up the bonus money from Lucas Oil Products. He's led all 125 laps tonight.
Well, that's a record that's enviable. Only one of them counted for money, though, and he led that one, too. Now Marty Lindley is all over him. Jason Sarvis has backed off a little bit, but I think that's more a function of Shane Huffman looking in the mirror saying, hey, if Lindley gets there and Sarvis gets there, that's a problem. Maybe I better step on it a bit, and I think he has picked up the pace, maybe by a tenth or so a lap. Lindley's able to go with him. Sarvis not quite yet.
Marty Lindley to the high side out of 4. That is one place you can pass here at Winchester, but you got to have some help. The guy in front of you has got to give you room, and Huffman knows where Lindley is. He's not giving him any room up there.
No, he's got plenty of looks in the mirror there at Marty Lindley. They've been watching each other for quite a while. Again, around that 55 car and the 27 of Shoemaker, minus the fenders and hood down there on the bottom of the racetrack. Everybody just trying to circulate and pick up as many points as they can. We go back to the battle for 5th position. That's the 44 car of Benny Gordon.
And the 42 of Brian Ross holding back Hal Goodson's machine as they close up. Ross headed to the front. Goodson's been backpedaling. Started up front tonight, ran second for a while, fell back to third. Now he's lost complete touch with that lead battle.
And the other 44, Joel Kaufman, is circulating slowly around the bottom of the racetrack along with several others, the black and yellow number 44. And he's able to get that car fixed enough to go. Chris Limerick also now in the 94 car, the Bill Sprague Amsoil Chevy Monte Carlo. Slow with no evident damage, but nevertheless circulating around the bottom with some of the other cars that are damaged.
Jason McClellan in the Arctic Clear Chevrolet, that 3 out of Ontario, Canada. He's been very quick at the end of the season. Still hasn't been to victory lane in Hooters Pro Cup competition, but he's getting closer and closer. Good second half of the season for that team.
And you mentioned he started 21st. I mentioned that he slipped through the wreck to get up to where he is right now, one of those lead lap cars, and battling for a spot along with rookie Benny Gordon. Gordon's record this year really came out of the box in a hurry in the Southern Division early on, kind of settled back a little bit towards the later part of the season. Here's Mike Laughlin Jr. put the dice on the side along with the 7 there. We talked about that a moment ago too. You can bet he's wearing his happy face shirt under the driver's suit, though. That is his trademark.
Well, the guy who's happiest of all here, Shane Huffman, his entire team, they have rolled a fast race car out of the hauler this weekend. Laughlin trying to close the gap, trying to stay in front of Benny Gordon in the 44S and McClellan in the 3 as they battle for position a little bit back of the leaders. Laughlin doing a nice job tonight, very, very smooth, lapping by some of the cars that were damaged. Looks like that's the 16 car, Clayton Rogers, back out on the racetrack.
Boy, they didn't leave a whole lot of sheet metal on that car, but they did get it repaired enough for him to go out there. Radiator replaced. There's the 44 of Kaufman in similar condition. But here is Shane Huffman having picked up the halfway money. Now we're on board with Marty Lindley looking back at Jay. And a brush off the wall there. Everybody's painting their name on the wall here at Winchester tonight.
That gives Huffman an opportunity to stretch the lead.
And Sarvis to go by, but now we got problems with Sean Studer.
Scott Baker in the 11 into it as well. Our 5th caution waves here tonight.
Wow, we had a pass for position there in the number 2 spot, and right on the heels of that, a caution flag comes out. So Scott Baker's come to rest on the track.
North Shore rookie contender, looks like his night may be over. We'll be back.
Hi, my name is Shauna.
And I'm Erica.
And you're watching Hooters Pro Cup Racing
on Speed.
Under caution in Winchester, let's hear from Sean Studer, who's in that wreck.
Well, Sean, your night ended early. This is not what either one of us expected.
No, not at all. Not for the Bird's Eye Fresh Like Chevrolet or Pontiac. We had a great car. We just needed to work on a little bit on longer runs. I don't know what the 11 car is. They must have just taken on tires, and he got by me, and he just went off into one just way too hard and lost it all by himself, and it just was right in my face. And I mean, it's so hard to get slowed down when you're so close to the wall here. It's kind of like you really don't have anywhere to go. But I'll tell you what, everybody on the crew did a good job. James Cowan, everybody. Man, Grandpa, I got to thank him for letting me use his car. I'm sad that we tore it up, but we'll get him again next weekend at Jennerstown. And man, I tell you what, this is the championship races. People just do some crazy things. So try and play it smart. You get the hand you're dealt. So.
Now they do some strange things because there's a lot of pressure on all these drivers and teams.
Well, and Sean Studer mentioned our next race, which will be at Jennerstown, so he kind of did the promo for us. And it will be covered, of course, right here on Speed, just like all summer long. You've seen Hooters Pro Cup Racing, and anything you want to know about USAR Pro Cup that we don't tell you here on the air, you can find on the web at usarprocup.com.
Pretty quick. Was that you clicking the mouse?
Hey. Watch my fingers, nothing moves.
Getting set for a restart, just more than 100 laps to go tonight. So far, it's been all Shane Huffman. Dove under Hal Goodson at the very start of the race. He's led all the way so far.
Daniel Johnson, Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago in the 56, leads the cars not on the lead lap, down on the bottom line as we get set to go back to green. Let's see if Marty Lindley can get it done.
Safety car has the lights out, diving to pit road. Should see the green this time by Huffman, the Genio Turkey Stores Ford, up through the gearbox. Takes him down into 108 laps to go tonight. Huffman is out in front. Sarvis sits third right behind Lindley. Mike Laughlin Jr., Benny Gordon rounding out your first 5.
Well, Shane Huffman got it done. He put Marty Lindley 10 car lengths behind him on the restart there. Not sure exactly what happened, but Shane Huffman certainly got it right.
Jason McClellan there. Jeff Agnew back on the racetrack. He was caught up in the big wreck earlier for second spot. Here comes Sarvis in the 22.
Yeah, the better race now seems to be for second between Lindley and Sarvis. We saw a good battle for the lead going on. Hal Goodson brings the Lynch Motorsports number 50 down to pit road under green, which of course is not a good sign. We're not sure what's wrong with the car yet, but they're heading for it.
Hal Goodson will make another stop for a change on the front right of this race car, and this one will be the one that hurts. Guys, this one comes under green flag conditions, and this is even more costly than the one in which he was involved in an accident a few laps ago. He will lose at least 1 lap, and they'll send Hal back out.
Pole sitter Goodson in that Dodge. Heavy damage to the front and rear of that race car. Obviously not on pace. Meantime, for second, Sarvis putting heavy pressure on Marty Lindley.
Well, he's having just as much trouble trying to get around Lindley as Lindley did trying to get around the leader, Shane Huffman. You can see that he gets the nose just almost up to the gas filler, and that's about as far as he goes. On the other hand, Jay Fogelman working down inside on the 92 of Mark Nesbitt gets the job done and made it look easy.
Jay Fogelman started back in 30th spot tonight. He has very patiently been working his way toward the front of the Lucas Oil Taurus. A couple of wins this year for the veteran. He says it's about time that he was in contention for the Hooters Pro Cup National Championship with $250,000 that'll go to the 2003 title holder. Right down the front straightaway, here he comes.
And you don't need to rub your eyes. There are 2 Lucas cars out there, and they are the 4 of Fogelman and the 2 of Stephen Christian. Here's our Sunoco full field rundown at lap number 150. Shane Huffman has led every lap, and that is something that's only been done. Well, let's say the only time a driver won a race by leading every lap was Jeff Agnew back in 2002 in Holland. He was able to do that in one of the non-televised races. Shane Huffman has equaled that record so far, but we got 100 laps to go.
Mark Nesbitt in 11th, Curtis Davis 12th. Hal Goodson back in 16th spot ahead of Danny Sammons in the 97. New sponsorship for that 97 team this weekend. Sammons in the Benson Motorcycles Ford. As we watch Fogelman pull away, there's Don Satterfield, the Hawk Saw Blades car in 21st. Joe Gaeta, Wormcastle, Chris Limerick. Danny O'Quinn had problems early. Sean Studer behind the wall. Buggy Fletcher with problems. Scott Baker involved in that wreck just a short time ago with Studer. Roger Blackstock 16 laps down. Kyle Shoemaker involved in the early wreck on lap 13. Michael Rich with problems. Chad Mullis had to pull out of the race. Gerald Davis, one of the Rookie of the Year contenders, being shown back in 34th. That's a tough run for him. Meantime, here's the 2S. Stephen Christian right in front of the 73. The car of Jeff Agnew, who started up toward the front, ran second early tonight.
They did a pretty good job of repairing what was mostly cosmetic damage to Agnew's car. Again, he winning that race at Holland. It was only a 150 lap race. Led flag to flag in that one. Shane Huffman so far getting got another caution out there.
Sixth of the night on lap 154. Leaders get out of the gas.
It's the 94 car that's brought this one out. And everybody woes down, including Don Satterfield. He got it going again, Keith Rogan in the 94, but not before a caution flag flies, and he's still got sparks flying out from under the car. The muffler might be dragging.
As we are off the gas under caution, less than 100 to go. Joel Kaufman rolling by slowly in the 44 North. There's Brian Ross in the 42 car, Darren Odell's machine. And yeah, Rogan certainly seems to have something dragging. I thought it might have a tire down, but it does look as though it's under the car where the exhaust headers would be.
Yeah, and the flames coming out tell us that there's some air getting to that exhaust system in between the engine and the muffler outlet there. So he's lost part of the exhaust system, and the crew on the Southern Road Builders 94 is going to go to work and see if they can't get it repaired.
Have to shut that car off probably and try to cool the headers down a little so they can effect some repairs under there. USAR officials on the scene to tell the team what they need to do. Here's our Coca-Cola replay. Let's get another look. There was a spin up there, and that's what began the caution period. Coming off of turn 4. Looks like it might have been Agnew up there in turn 4 who went around. That was away from Keith Rogan's incident.
And backed it down onto the entrance to pit road in the process. So Joe Gaeta moves up alongside leader Shane Huffman. Gaeta down a couple of laps here.
We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed, the Alan Kulwicki Memorial Naturally Fresh Foods 250 from Winchester. First of the championship series runs tonight here. Let's hear from Scott Baker, who's behind the wall.
Scott Baker, this place is rough on suspension parts.
Yes, it is. The track's rough, and you know, you just drive into the corner so hard, and the car's moving around a lot. We just ripped the shock mount off our truck arm, so as soon as I went to the corner, it broke off and just sent me for a ride. So the Talmadge Asphalt Chevrolet, we're having a little bit of a rough day today, but we're trying to get it fixed, get back out, get some more points, and look forward to getting it over to Jennerstown.
If it's any consolation, all of the guys in the rookie title chase are having problems.
Well, I guess, you know, I don't see anybody having any misfortune, but, you know, we've been working real hard to try to get back in this race, and now a little misfortune bit us, so we'll get it, though.
As we take a look at our Lucas Oil race recap tonight, let's show you how things have gone here so far in the first 150-plus laps. The start of the race, Hal Goodson, the quick qualifier, elected to start on the outside of the front row, but Shane Huffman blew right by him at the lead, and he has led all the way so far. Lap 13, big incident as they came off turn 4. Clayton Rogers got turned around, Kyle Shoemaker involved, Danny O'Quinn, Mario Gosselin, Joe Harrison, just a host of others. Huge carnage. Here's another look from Kaufman's onboard.
This was a cast of almost thousands, and almost everyone was involved in one way or another in that one, except the leader and a couple of others. Benny Gordon, the only rookie not involved. 90
laps in, Jeff Agnew running well. He tangles with the 71 of Sean Studer. Restart, and on lap 92, Shane Huffman came down pit road. The top 5 or 6 deciding to stop early tonight. Huffman does not lose the lead. 5 laps later, back under green on lap 97. Huffman takes him down into turn 1. He's led all the way so far. And that is your Lucas Oil race recap. Halfway bonus to Shane Huffman on his way to wiring the field maybe here tonight.
Well, it's a little too early to call it that because he has been getting a challenge from Marty Lindley, who in turn has been getting a challenge from Jason Sarvis. So rather than call that kind of a number for Shane Huffman and put him under any pressure, let's just say he's led every lap so far.
It's been a dominant run. Less than 90 to go. Your Naturally Fresh Foods field summary. Huffman, Lindley, Sarvis, Mike Laughlin Jr., Benny Gordon, the first 5. And look at Huffman just open up the lead here on the 15 of Lindley.
Brian Ross also rounding out the top 10, doing a pretty good job. Also that he was Rookie of the Year a season ago and has done a super job racing in the Northern Division. His talent has been documented quite a few times, so Ross might be intruding into the picture here as the laps begin to wind down. This is the point at which we begin to look for drivers like Bobby Gill and Mario Gosselin. Both of them are out of the race.
Speaking of Brian Ross, this is one of his home tracks here at Winchester. He's an Indiana native from the city of Plymouth. Raced here many times. I believe he's won a track championship in late models here, as a matter of fact. This is a place Brian loves to come to. Hasn't been very quick so far, but he has pressed on, trying to get close to the top 5. Lindley in the 15 car with his hands full. Boy, Sarvis is all over.
Absolutely, and Marty Lindley is using that high line against the wall for every inch. Now here comes Jason Sarvis down low, and they're looking at almost 2 completely different lines around the racetrack. Marty Lindley goes in, Sarvis keeps looking for him, but he needs a little bit of a mistake, I think, out of Lindley to really be able to make that pass.
As many races as we've seen here at Winchester, Brian, you and I have both been here several times. The guys like to run the cars free. You do that by going up to the wall. It's a driver's tendency, though, to think, hey, if I'm going to pass, I can go to the bottom and get under him, but it binds the car up a lot of times.
So Marty Lindley is just using the wall for a berm in a couple of spots here. He's put some marks on the side of his car to go along with those put there by others. But Jason Sarvis not giving it up at all in that number 22 machine. That Black's Tire entry. It is the defending champions car for the 2003 season. He's trying to get a second championship, and he's doing a pretty good job of keeping himself in position to do that.
Going by one of the other cars wounded in that lap 13 scramble on the front stretch. Glenn Galt from Ohio in the 32. They patched that car together and sent him back out, the American title Chevrolet. Meantime, here's Curtis Davis, the 1-800 Radiators Ford, right up behind Benny Gordon. Mike Laughlin, the Laughlin Race Car 7, up in 4th spot.
1-800 Radiators could have done some business here tonight. They replaced a lot of radiators on damaged cars early in this one after that lap 13 incident. Curtis Davis working behind Mike Laughlin Jr. in the number 7 car. He's kept that entry very, very clean looking. The Finish Line Racing School Ford looks like it just rolled out of the showroom by comparison to, for instance, Kaufman's number 44 down below.
Benny Gordon in the 44 South up to 5th, started 17th, Rookie of the Year contender. That's a great run for that team. Driver from Moncks Corner, South Carolina. I suspect he's probably got all the problems.
94 car again.
That is Keith Rogan, yeah.
Keith Rogan up against the wall this time, and we got every bit of that one. He's got a tire down on the right side apparently, and sparks are flying out from under the car. Looks a little different than what we saw earlier. So the Southern Road Builders number 94 has got a handling problem because the air in that right side tire went somewhere else.
So Rogan, who was just on pit road with sparks showing from under the race car, perhaps he was dragging something that might have cut a tire. Hard to say. We'll try to find out. 7th caution of the night. Less than 80 to go at Winchester. We'll be right back. Back on speed, coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series from Winchester tonight. The Kulwicki Memorial Naturally Fresh Foods 250, presented by Astral, the first of the 5-race championship series to close out the 2003 title fight. 176 laps are up on the board. 74 remain tonight. Shane Huffman in the Genio Turkey Stores Ford, that's the 84, has led all the way. Keith Rogan on pit road for the second time in the last couple of laps after getting in the wall. Damage to the 94S, trying to repair that car and get him back out.
Well, it's going to be a tall order to fill right now, and the Southern Road Builders crew has definitely got their work cut out for them as Shane Huffman takes him to the green with Marty Lindley and Jason Sarvis, who might be the fastest car on the track, but it is difficult to pass here, as we heard Hal Goodson talk about. That's the car that Sarvis debuted at USA International. We take a look at our Naturally Fresh Field summary, and then he went to Victory Lane at Hickory in the Southern Division, so that car is only 2 races old. And it's running like a very fresh race car for sure.
Black's Tire team bringing a Ford out for the first time in memory, and it's been very, very good, as you have seen. Up into 3rd, right behind the similar Taurus and Marty Lindley. Mike Laughlin Jr. right there in 4th spot. And I've got to give a call again to Benny Gordon. Started to talk about Benny a little before the caution flag out of South Carolina. Rookie on the tour. I'll bet he's never seen Winchester until this weekend.
Started 17th, and he is doing a super job, no question about it, while Jason Sarvis and Marty Lindley struggle over the crumbs, really, because Shane Huffman has taken the cake out front. I mean, he got a great jump on the restart again, opened up 10, maybe 15 car lengths, and these guys have to quit racing each other and try to just get up there and get in contention with the leader.
Huffman able to stretch the lead, and he's very good on the restarts. Every time we've had a restart tonight, he has pulled away. Here comes Bobby Gill in the Triple Diamond Jet Center 5, trying to get back on the racetrack and score some points. Bobby said earlier this would be his last run. Now for second, Sarvis to the bottom.
And Sarvis has been needing to get around Marty Lindley because he probably feels like, and I'd have to agree, that if he can do that, he might be able to do a little bit better job with the leader, Shane Huffman. But Lindley is tough. I mean, fighting him every inch of the way. You're on board with Marty Lindley now. Sarvis has gone back behind him.
Remember that Sarvis is the defending USAR Hooters Pro Cup national champion. Scored the honors last year in the final 5-race championship run. He thinks he can do it again this year. This is the first of 5 to settle the title fight. He's running 3rd, trying to move to 2nd.
Here comes Jason Sarvis again, having a look down on the low line, but he just can't quite get by. Now Benny Gordon working on Mike Laughlin Jr. for the position behind them. That's 4th and 5th. Can Benny Gordon get it done?
Gordon taking a peek inside Mike Laughlin. No shot. You just can't get through on the bottom right now.
It is just very, very hard to do that. The car wants to handle up high, and as they get down low and pinch the car down to try to get it, pushes up to the high side anyway. You can get almost alongside, and it has nothing to do with pulling out of the draft or anything like that. The speeds are not that high here at Winchester. It's just a question of the car wanting to work up on the high side. That's where it's been set up to run. You bring it down low, the banking changes. That's another thing that even Hal Goodson didn't mention, is that the banking, it's almost flat at the bottom, and then it curves up and dishes up towards the wall.
Mike Laughlin Jr. in the 7 with the dies behind the number there tonight. Your leader continues to be Shane Huffman. 6th position, Jason McClellan in car number 3. Again, pressure on the 7 car for 4th spot.
Good racing. Kind of everybody's got a dancing partner out there right now. It's not a big cluster of cars. It's just kind of 2x2. Danny O'Quinn Jr. has got, that looks like a gull wing door on the side of his car, but it's actually the left front fender. So he's bringing it down pit wall to see if they can't do some big guy body work on that.
O'Quinn's car looks as though he ran into a can opener there. They'll have some patchwork to do to get him back in competition.
Now, Stephen Cox has been wanting to give us a report on Lady Isabel. That would be the storm that came through the area just this week.
Brian, Hurricane Isabel affected everybody, even many of the team members from the Virginia area. Now, around Chesapeake and Norfolk, Virginia, that's where Joe Cada and his entire crew hail from. It is a miracle that these guys made it here at all. All but 2 of their team members actually made it through the storm, and most of their team members arrived here after having to reschedule flights. Some of them, actually about half the team, had to drive for 12 hours with no available flights at all to make this race, and most of the team members left behind family members with no power, no water, and no telephone. So it's been a very difficult situation for them. And we also want to say hi to Charlie Ford. Charlie Ford and his crew could not make it at all. They had trees down on their property right in front of their shop. They couldn't get their vehicles out. Charlie was stranded 6 miles away from home in the storm and had to make his own way back. So it's been very, very difficult. We remember those guys out on the east coast of Virginia. Charlie, we're sorry you're not here. It's a miracle that the Gata team made it.
A couple of the other drivers, Rick, also, that qualified or were invited, so to speak, to this championship series. Forrest Urban couldn't make it. Same thing with the storm. And Ray Peel out of Jacksonville, North Carolina, in the construction business. He had to stay back and try to repair things.
Yeah, our prayers are with all those who were impacted by the storm. We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed with Brian Drebber. I'm Rick Benjamin. Stephen Cox is on pit road. Not many laps to go tonight here at Winchester in the Ellen Kulwicki Memorial 250. It's been Shane Huffman's night so far as we watch Mike Laughlin continuing to try to hang on to 4th right in front of Benny Gordon. The 3-car of Jason McClellan there. Here's your race leader. 50 to go. Your Sunoco Race Fuels full field rundown. Lindley is second, but Huffman's got a pretty good lead, Bill.
Yes, he does, and he's able to do that mostly on the restarts. He gets away. A little bit of traffic gets in between him and the battle going on behind him. And those, as long as the other drivers are racing against each other, the one in front making a defensive line, in this case Mike Laughlin Jr., holding back Benny Gordon, he's not making any forward progress for positions of his own. As we continue to look at our full field rundown, 200 laps down, we're in the 5th quarter, you might say here, the one that counts.
Heavy pressure for 4th. Benny Gordon trying to get the job done on the bottom in that 44S. Looked like he had it done a moment ago on Mike Laughlin. Laughlin got some good bite up high, though. Was able to drive off the corner and reestablish himself in 4th. Jason McClellan's been riding back there in 6th. And Curtis Davis with a good run in the 1-800 Radiator 68 car. He started very deep in the field after spinning during qualifying. He's marched right up through there. He's sitting back in 7th position.
Well, we see the 94 of Chris Limerick slow around the bottom of the track, the 73 of Jeff Agnew. We saw Bobby Gill down there on the low side, Danny O'Quinn Jr. Some very good drivers ran into problems early in this race, and they're just trying to circulate around out there to get as many points as possible before this one ends in order to go to race number 2 at Jennerstown with even a chance of a championship. You can have one bad race, you can't have 2.
Watching Jay Fogelman, the Lucas Oil Ford, running back there in 8th. Laughlin Jr. continues to hold 4th. Those cars have been nose to tail, seemingly for 75 laps. Huffman in the Genio Turkey Stores Taurus, all alone out front. Here's Laughlin, Benny Gordon, Jason McClellan, Curtis Davis, and Fogelman now. Trouble! Laughlin slips up high. That opens the door for Gordon on the bottom of the racetrack. Can he get by into 1?
Well, I think Benny Gordon opened his own door, and he does a great slide job to go past Mike Laughlin Jr., but he just got the happy face guy a little bit loose, and Jason McClellan backed out a tiny bit there, but Benny Gordon was able to go by. Just the slightest little bit of contact. Sometimes, especially here at Winchester, that's what you have to do, bump and run.
Very bold move for the rookie driver out of South Carolina. Now here comes McClellan moving by Laughlin.
Well, Laughlin may be trying to recover from the shock of having been passed by Benny Gordon the way it happened. And here comes the 68 car down below him as well. So Curtis Davis has got Mike Laughlin Jr. in a revolving door.
I'm starting to think that Laughlin may have a tire going down or the handling's going away on the race car. He, though, is our Tucson Star of the Week.
Well, actually, I got started in racing. I was actually born into it. My father's been building chassis, for 30-some-odd years now, and started racing myself actually in my teens. Been doing it all my life. Love it. It's all I've known to do. This is my kind of racing. Short track racing. Put a fender on somebody. Everybody that's been out here, they know what's intentional and what's not. You go down the corner, hit me, knock me sideways. I'm not going to say anything. you know, I'll dish it out, but I can take it too. This year, we should have been finishing a lot better than it's showing, running a lot better than what it's showing. You're going to see a big difference come these last 5 races in our race team. Been pinching my dollars, going to spend them when it counts, spend the money when it counts, and you'll see a big difference in this race team come these last 5. Obviously, we have aspirations. Everybody wants to move up the Busch, win some Cup, but quite honestly, if I could afford it, and if a corporate sponsor would see the ability in me that I feel like that I have, that I know that I have, and our team, I'm happy right here. In my personal opinion, this is Saturday night racing the way it should be. Mr. Brooks and all the USAR officials, they've done a great job with this series. We've been with it since its inception. I mean, it's here to stay, and it's growing. And it's actually the best racing I've been in.
The thoughts of Mike Laughlin Jr., son of the legendary car builder, battling back from serious burns suffered on the racetrack a couple of years ago. Well, it's been a busy social season so far this fall, right, Stephen?
Jason Sarvis will soon be getting married just after the Lakeland race, the 5th of the final championship series. They're going to take off. He and his fiancée, Alicia, they're going to the Caribbean on a cruise. They'll be married on December 6th.
Well, along with a busy social schedule, we heard from Jimmy Burns and his bride-to-be Laura, Heather and Michael Rich. Baby Jacob Austin Rich arrived this recent.
Welcome back to Winchester, the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series on Speed with Brian Drebber, Stephen Cox, I'm Rick Benjamin. Watching the battle for position a little further back. Benny Gordon, Jason McClellan have gotten by Mike Laughlin Jr. now. Gordon up into 4th, McClellan up in 5th, and McClellan seems to be really coming to life here, Brian.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that 3 car that started so deep in the field, 21st, he got most of his forward progress done by getting through the wreck. But he's managed to stay there, and now, little by little, his car seems to be working better towards the end of the race, and that's exactly what you want when you're behind the wheel of a car.
Shane Huffman continuing to lead. In fact, opening up the lead. He's led all the way so far. If he can close the deal tonight, he would accomplish something that's never been done in USAR Hooters Pro Cup competition. Lead an entire 250-lap race, flag to flag. He made his pit stop on lap number 90 for fuel and tires, Brian. I'm starting to wonder if that was too early.
Well, when they came in, there were only 7 cars on the lead lap, and they all pitted. When they pitted, cars got their laps back and came in, but Mike Laughlin Jr., you guessed he might be having a tire problem. What about it, Stephen?
Mike Loescher of Finish Line Racing School is calling the shots for Mike Laughlin's number 7 race car tonight. Well, here's one of the decisions that they made. They have only taken on right side tires. It got them quite a bit of track position. The left side tires are still here and may well stay here throughout the end of the race. They may take on 2 and run 250 laps on those inside left tires. Now, here's something very interesting about Winchester Speedway. I was talking with Eric Corbett just before the race, and Corbett observed the very same thing that I observed here years ago in modifieds and also in late models. Tires really don't fall off much at this racetrack. You can bring out new sticker tires and get a few more tenths out of them, but they don't make a tremendous difference. If your car is set up right and you're not chewing up those front tires, you can actually make old tires go the distance, and that's exactly what these guys with Mike Laughlin are trying to do.
Eric Corbett driving the number 75 Clean and Shine Ford Taurus. You know, may have been on to something there, as drivers who have a lot of experience at Winchester know, but that's still a pretty bold move to take on only right side tires. You're asking a lot out of those lefts, and if there's any handling issues, you're going to be wearing them out. Mike Laughlin Jr. has been losing spots kind of steadily here for the last 20 or 30 laps.
Especially at the speeds we see at Winchester. Shane Huffman's strategy and pace have been flawless so far tonight at the Genio Turkey Stores Ford. Huffman out of Hickory, North Carolina. That car has not put a wheel wrong. Here's Brian Ross, new backing tonight on Darren Odell's car. The U.S. Insurance Truck Specialist Ford. You see Brian having a strong night tonight. Former Rookie of the Year on the North Tour and overall in USAR competition. He was the North Tour points champion 1 year ago. Not yet into contention, just moving up into the top 10. He's right in front of Curtis Davis out of Siler City, North Carolina. They lap by the 21 and Derek Kelly. Davis with a good run finally got his first USAR Pro Cup win a few weeks back, and he is a young driver to watch as we move forward.
Well, that happened for a few drivers this season. Mark Nesbitt going to victory lane as well, and Sean Studer maybe long overdue, and you would have to say that Mark Nesbitt's win was long overdue. That's a fellow who's been knocking on the door for a long time, had a couple of races won, but for some bad luck. And it's great to see new faces in victory lane here in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. It seems as though that's the case every year. Shane Huffman's been to victory lane plenty of times, and in spite of the mojo that you just put on him, can he go all the way to the checkered flag and lead 250 laps, make history here at Winchester? That remains to be seen, but he sure looks good right now. I wouldn't bet against him.
Got the halfway bonus. The only thing he missed was qualifying on the pole. He lost out to Hal Goodson by just a tick, 5/1000ths of a second.
Yeah, and then it didn't take him long to make up that 5/1000ths and get the lead before the first lap was even done. So he's led every lap from the green flag to now, including the round of pit stops, and that is really quite an accomplishment.
Huffman continues to lead, lapping by Joe Harrison in the 57 car. Out of Renwick, West Virginia. Here he moves up on Scott Baker, the Talmadge Asphalt Chevy, the 11. Baker's been very good on the North Tour. Got caught up in that incident with Sean Studer a little earlier. Said he had problems with the race car, broke something, that's what put him in the wall. Studer kind of pointed the finger at him for making a mistake, but Baker's a pretty smooth and clean driver for a first-year pilot out here. I've been very impressed with him. Michael Rich back on the racetrack.
The Jackaroo Sauces team has worked hard to get that car handling quite well, even though it's cosmetically and aerodynamically challenged, as are many of them going around the track at this point, as we get up very close to a time when we can say if nothing dramatic happens for Shane Huffman, or if somebody doesn't turn in the afterburners here, that number 84 Genio Turkey Store car is going to go to victory lane, having led all 250 laps. He comes up behind the two of Steve Christian, the Lucas Oil Products car, also a very fast car, but nothing has been even close to Shane Huffman, except briefly there as Marty Lindley and Jason Sarvis challenged him for a while.
Huffman trying to work his way by Christian. Would you have thought, Brian Drebber, coming in here tonight, that Christian would be lapped?
No, absolutely not. I would not have thought coming in here tonight that as many cars as have been lapped would go a lap down or more. 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 laps down here at Winchester Speedway. A lot of that is because of that big incident. It took a lot of drivers off their game. It took a lot of cars out of this race prematurely.
Just 10 cars are left on the lead lap. Less than 20 laps to go tonight at Winchester. Huffman about to put Christian 1 lap down in that Lucas Oil Chevrolet. We'll grab a quick timeout and be right back at Winchester. Welcome back on Speed, the Alan Kulwicki Memorial Naturally Fresh Foods 250 from Winchester Speedway with Brian Drebber. I'm Rick Benjamin. 10 to go tonight in the season opener, the championship season opener, the first of 5 races to settle the title here in 2003 in Hooters Pro Cup action. Shane Huffman's led all the way.
Well, and I'm sure that his crew down on pit wall is holding up 10 fingers right now, and every time he crosses start-finish, they take one away. It's 9 to go now. They're counting them down. And if he can make 9 more laps, about 8.5 at this point, he will go into the history books, not only as the winner of the first race of the 2003 Championship Series, but as the only man ever to lead flag to flag in a Hooters Pro Cup race ever. And that's something big.
Jason Sarvis second. You're watching Marty Lindley, who rides third. There's Jason McClellan in the 3 car, running in 4th position. 56 car, several laps down. Pete Wormcastle, there's Don Satterfield for 1. Jason McClellan out of Ontario, Canada, the Arctic Clear number 3, doing a great job tonight. Likes this racetrack. We've talked to him earlier in the last couple of seasons. He said, hey, Winchester, one of my favorite places to come to and race. He has had a terrific run here tonight.
Comes up behind Don Satterfield in the Hawk Sawblades number 1, the great veteran driver there that was given the humanitarian award at the banquet a season ago. It's going to be a tough job to find a replacement for that award in 2003.
5 laps to go. That's the signal coming down from the flag stand to leader Shane Huffman. 5 to go as he flashes onto the front straightaway one more time.
And the crew puts one hand behind their back. They only have to count the fingers on the other one right now. 5 laps remain for the Genio Turkey Store number 84. Shane Huffman has been perfect, flawless. You know, call it what you like. To be able to have this kind of a race car and drive it that well for the entire race here at Winchester is really an accomplishment.
Well, you pinned it down earlier, Brian. You said a lot of the passing took place after that big wreck on lap 13, the red flag that came out. 8 cars heavily damaged. Huffman certainly took advantage of that. On the restart, he drove away. Hasn't really been challenged tonight. Marty Lindley was close to him a couple of times, but guys like Clayton Rogers, Bobby Gill, some of the fast race cars and good drivers in the series and just saw their chances to win go away.
And there is the 16 to Clay Rogers, first car involved in that incident. Not only that, but Shane Huffman dodged another bullet in the incident that took out Jeff Agnew, who was running second at the time. White flag is out, one more to go. The crew doesn't have to count any longer. He can coast to the finish line and get the checkers this time.
They go by Joel Kaufman's LA West Chevrolet, the 44 car. Huffman down into turn 3. Final time around the half-mile high banks here at Winchester. Coming up behind the 55 car, Shane Huffman has led wire to wire and wins the opener of the championship series here in 2003, the Alan Kulwicki Memorial 250.
Oh, but the last lap was not without its fireworks, and Jason Sarvis was running second, but he tangled with the lap car of Derek Kelly, who was running in 14th position, 4 laps down, and Sarvis lost the number 2 spot to Marty Lindley after he had worked so hard to get it.
Wow, what a way to lose second spot on the final lap around here. Huffman had a perfect night in the Genio Turkey Stores 84. Made a very early pit stop way before halfway, but made it work tonight, and he'll go to victory lane.
Well, he's headed that way right now, and certainly will be happy not only to have come in here as the top seed with a big point bonus before the race ever started. Now he comes out of here with the first victory to only add to that advantage that he came in tied with Jeff Agnew. That tie is broken big time here tonight.
Shane Huffman will take the reverse victory lap in honor of the late Alan Kulwicki. That's what he was noted for on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit many years ago, when he would score a victory when he won his championship in 1992, taking that lap in reverse around the racetrack, holding the checkered flag. And Huffman will do the same here at Winchester tonight in honor of the great champion who was killed in that plane crash back in the early 90s. So Huffman is your winner tonight, and a very popular victory, I think, here at Winchester.
And he'll get more than a few waves from the drivers in the other cars, probably some jealousy, in fact, from those other drivers. We'll take another look at the incident involving Jason Sarvis. Derek Kelly in the 21 car looked like he was trying to get out of the way to let those 2 run high to the checkers, and he ended up getting in the way instead, and Sarvis lost the number 2 spot.
Tough break, tough way to lose a runner-up finish here, and that's critical because the points you score here will go a long way toward determining where you'll end up in the final Hooters Pro Cup Championship standings, and the champion wins $250,000. Shane Huffman takes a giant step toward the title. We'll talk to him next.
USAR Hooters Pro Cup Racing has been brought to you by Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. Naturally fresh salad dressing. Look for it in your supermarket's produce section. Miller Lite is the official sponsor of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. Lucas Oil, the official lubricant of USAR.
Welcome back on Speed. Shane Huffman, to the applause of the fans here at Winchester, goes all the way, flag to flag, leads all 250 laps to win the first of the championship runs this year. He's with Steven.
This guy has managed to complete, with the exception of the 4th round in the Southern Series at Ace Speedway, where he crashed out. He has completed every possible lap all year long, and you know what that pays off with? Championships.
Well, I'll tell you what, first off, I just want to thank the good Lord for letting us be here in Victory Lane. Genio Turkey Store, couldn't be here without those guys. They've been an awesome sponsor all year long. Tip Top Poultry. These guys just give me awesome race cars week in and week out. These Laughlin chassis and Automotive Specialist motors make it easy for me. I tell you, I just can't believe, this is, we got 4 more to go here. We want to win this championship bad, and this is the right steps to take.
You made almost 160 laps on a tank of fuel, and no concern at all. Your crew chief didn't seem concerned.
Well, we come up here and tested 2 weeks ago. We knew exactly how far we could go on fuel, So we got beat on pit strategy last year. Clay won the race, done the right calls, made the right moves, and we knew we learned, just sometimes getting back here in the back, you kind of take chances, but, it all worked out. Got to thank Chuck Schmick from Penske Shocks. He came up here and tested with us, Beard and Oil, Wicks Filters, just everybody involved on this deal. Like I said, Laughlin Chassis, Automotive Specialist Motors, it's a team effort, and these guys make it easier for me.
All right, Shane Huffman in victory lane. 1 down, 4 to go. Let's take a look at the final results here tonight. Marty Lindley, Sarvis, McClellan, and Gordon, they were all fast tonight.
Benny Gordon, top rookie, another great run for him as we look through the rest of the results. Brian Ross, last car on the lead lap. We saw Steve Christian go a lap down right at the end.
Curtis Davis finishes 11th ahead of Corbett. David Stover, I'll tell you, Corbett, he was in trouble a couple of times tonight, still gets 12th out of it. Joe Gaeta soldiers on for 16th ahead of Satterfield.
6 laps down for Joe Gaeta. For David Buggy Pletcher, quite a few laps down. In fact, 27 laps off the lead pace. So attrition really took its toll here at Winchester, and it started early for some of the drivers whose names you begin to see here now that were involved in that first big wreck. Clay Rogers notably, but he soldiered back there and still has a shot at the championship. Don't count anyone, including even Bobby Gill, Stacy Purrier, and the rest out.
And Mario Gosselin, who checkers in 41st after going out in that very early wreck. Let's hear from the runner-up, Marty Lindley's with Steven.
This car looks like it's raced at Winchester, too. The whole right side of it scraped up pretty good. Marty Lindley, a great job with the car tonight, and you didn't have much to work with the traffic out there.
Yeah, it was, you know, we took a really great car. Clayton lost it there off something broke in his car off of 4 there, and we squeezed by on the inside and hit the right front wheel and tore the side out of it and kind of knocked the steering off a little bit. And we just had a really great car before then, and still had a great car. You know, made some runs at Huffman there, but it just steering was a little bit off. And I mean, you know, he just had a perfect night. He didn't hit anything, didn't have no bad luck, and just had a great car tonight. And you know, just like to thank Hooters and Automotive Specialist. The motor really ran good. Advanced Racing, the shocks, everything really worked well. The guys had a great pit stop tonight. If we'd have been nose to tail with Shane coming down pit road, I felt like we'd have beat him off because he had a pretty good head start, and we dropped the jack at the same time. So everything went good. It helped us a little bit in the points. You know, we got 4 races left. We just got to keep it solid, and maybe we can come out with a championship.
Take a look at the point standings with one of the 5 championship races in the books. Adding to what they had in the regular season, Huffman's got a lead of 75 points.
Well, he started with a 30-point bonus and then won the race, so that puts him way out in front of Jason Sarvis, who finished 3rd in this race but came out with a higher seed than Marty Lindley going in.
Very tight, though, after the points leader. Corbett and Laughlin just 9 points apart. Danny O'Quinn 1 ahead of Danny Sammons in 16th.
Well, you almost have to make book now on Shane Huffman with such a big advantage. But, again, with 4 races to go, anything can happen, including bad things, which we don't wish on anyone.
Well, Jason Sarvis got caught up in that last incident. He's 3rd. Let's talk with him.
A top 3 finish is always impressive, but it's especially impressive with you when you do it with a mess like that on the front of your race car. What happened toward the end?
Well, we had some lap cars there. Like I said, typical short track racing, man. It's just like a Bristol or anything else. You got guys that just don't know when to get out of the way, and tempers get flaring, but 21 car decided he wanted to race. There were 4 laps to go, but I want to thank Black's Tire Service. Those guys, great sponsorship on this Ford tonight. It was running good. You know, we didn't have anything for the 84, but we come on strong. Should have had a 2nd place. He stopped there on me on the last lap. Marty got by me, but we'll get him at Jennerstown.
Well, not only that, but you're going into top 2, top 3 every time out. You keep doing that for the next 4 races, you may end up defending that title.
We've got some good tracks coming up for us. You know, home track, Myrtle Beach, and Jefferson's a good track. We've run really well at Jennerstown and Lakeland, so we're looking forward to it. We feel like we got 4 good tracks out of the 5, and we got 1 behind us tonight. We got some damage, but hey, we come home with a top 3 finish. What it could have been a lot worse.
Jason Sarvis, certainly a guy with high hopes. Hard charger, Hooters Pro Cup Series tonight. Jay Fogelman gains 24 spots.
Well, yeah, he got through the wreck and ended up finishing on the lead lap. Good job for Jay Fogelman in the Lucas Oil car. And Benny Gordon, Miller Lite Rookie of the race. Yeah, why not? He had a great race.
Yeah, gained 12 spots. He's standing by downstairs with Steven.
We asked him if he looked tired, and he said, oh, no, this place is easy. Nothing to finishing up in the top at Winchester, is there? You know, you are the top finishing rookie, which is really going to help you out.
Yeah, the way these points work out for us, we missed the first 4 races of the year, got behind. We missed a race. Last week trying to figure out what we've been doing wrong. We've had 2 races that we were running good, but we got in accidents, but we weren't running like we did when we first come out and started the series. So we kind of backed up, thought about what we were doing, put 2 cars together, get them ready for these championship races. But the points, and the way the points work out, now we're going to be in the hunt for the rookie when those guys were ahead of us pretty far all year when we couldn't catch them if it was a regular point season. So this is going to work out good for us. I think we may be in the lead now, and but these guys are going to be tough. It's two good rookies, and we're going to have to run hard and stay on top of our game to stay ahead of them.
Well, Benny Gordon can be forgiven for not being able to do the math quite that quickly, but the next best rookie finisher was David Stover in 13th and Pete Wormcastle in 18th. So, yeah, Benny Gordon's out in front of all of them right now for that Miller Lite rookie title.
That's that reshuffling of the deck when we get to the 5-race championship series. Next race, Jennerstown Speedway. For the Hooters Pro Cup North and South Tour stars, they'll face off in a couple of weeks, and the coverage the following Wednesday night here on Speed. Hope you can join us for all the coverage. Victory Lane ceremonies continuing for our winner tonight, Shane Huff in car number 84, who gets a big jump on the field as we go into the final 4 events of the year. Our At-Track communications are provided by Racing Electronics. Our At-Track transportation from Best Golf Cars. As always, all the motorsports news you need available 24/7 on our website, which is speedtv.com.
We're going to Hooters to celebrate.